All right, guys, welcome back to Father's Plight. I wasn't going to do no more videos today, but I ran across this information on this page here that I have up right now. It's called the Father's Rights Movement, or TFRM is the acronym. And this lawyer, Melissa Isaac, was discussing information that took me over a year to find out by asking questions, going back and down to the courthouse, Department of Revenue, to try to figure out why exactly my child support wasn't being calculated correctly. So this information she's about to go over is invaluable. It covers for unmarried fathers up here, as you can see, or single fathers. And I mean, she hits everything on the head. She literally repeats what I have been saying like a book. So please listen, take notes, and I'll chime in where I need to, okay?
All right, unmarried dads. Does the reason for the breakup matter? Yes, it does. Adultery is less of an issue, though, because adultery is the breaking of a legal covenant, a legal contract. You don't have that with unmarried fathers. So does the reason for the breakup matter? Yeah, but not so much adultery. Now, if you're living together, you're cohabitating, and you're not married, and your girlfriend or your fiance, your unmarried significant other, brings someone to the house and has sex with them in front of your child, then it matters. Then it matters that there was this other relationship. But you really more have to tie it into how this other relationship affects the child, right? The conduct during the relationship is the key when you are an unmarried father. You say, Judge, I've been living with my children. They're 5 and 7. We've been living together the whole time. I was there. I went to every pediatrician appointment. I cut the cord when the children were born. Here's a picture of me giving baths. Here's a picture of me at Christmas time wrapping gifts.
And Father, as she goes through this, I really want you all to listen to what she says, because when I first started this, I didn't understand what it meant when the judge asked me I had to provide evidence of how I'm a fit father, why it is that I wanted to have a certain amount of custody or percentage. I didn't understand how to prove that. She's going to answer all these questions and tell you exactly what you need to do. And at the end of the day, if you want to fight for your kids, this is where it starts, and she will show you the path.
I fed them. Your interaction with your child, it's very important during a divorce as well, but it's the utmost of importance when you're an unmarried dad. So after the breakup, you have to stay involved. So it's common, especially with unmarried dads, after a breakup, is your contact might be cut off, where you can't be involved. You say, but you won't let me be involved, okay? So she might say, well, but he never even calls. He never asks to see the kids. I say, well, why don't you call? She sends me straight to voicemail. She won't let me talk to him. It doesn't matter. But you have to continue to make a showing. So we say, Judge, it's been 6 months since they broke up. We finally got a court hearing. Let me show you his phone bill. He called every day at 6 p.m. Can I talk to my child? Can I talk to my child? Can I talk to my child? Here's one call, and here's a text. Now, here's where you guys get in trouble. You call, and then call and call and call. Text, 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 text. Now you're harassing. One call, one text. That's it. That takes it off the table. Well, Judge, he never...
And you see, that information right there she gave was key. It was enlightening to me, because I never realized if you call somebody more than one time, it's considered harassment. But it makes sense in the eyes of the law. And that's where us fathers have to be diligent. I mean, this right here seems like it'd be a big pain in the ass for anybody. I know it would be for me if I had to keep track of records like this. But I had to do it to a certain extent. Luckily for me, me and my baby mother was able to get them to an amicable agreement, and we're great right now. We have the best relationship ever. For those who are just starting off and, time hasn't wore off, the feelings are still in it, this is key. You have to be diligent with your record keeping. And just like she said, make one call a day and send one text a day. Again, like I've always preached, that is showing record. And that is how you're building your case. It takes time. We're emotional. We ain't seen our kids. We want everything to happen now. Unfortunately, you have to build a case.
He really never asks. Well, ma'am, he calls you every day. Well, but he doesn't leave a message. What do you think he's calling you for, okay? Also, record yourself leaving a message. Because if you do leave a message, right, you say, listen, Jane, I just really want to talk to my son. Would you please have him call me back? I miss him. Tell him I love him. I really want to talk to him. You record that. Because if you get to court and say, well, he calls and leaves these messages, calls me horrible names, right? You don't think to record your voicemails? Record your voicemails. Well, ma'am, according to the phone bill here, he called you 10 times. You have 10 voicemails. Oh, yes, they were horrible. They were awful. You can play all 10. Does the judge say, So what we tell our clients is first of all, screenshot everything, because you never know when your phone's going to take a dive. You never know. Screenshot and email is the very best thing for us. There's a lot of apps where you can download your text messages, and it almost looks like a Word document.
And you see, fellas, what she's going over right here is what women do all the time. I mean, every time I look around, whether it's online, on TV, reality show, you know, a woman is sitting there tracking down what a man did through his digital blueprint, or digital footprint, that is. And if you don't know what digital footprint is, then please look it up. But it's basically the breadcrumbs that you leave every time you use any device. Whatever you say, whatever picture you use, you know, there's always some type of protocol for you to recall that information. So if you're not familiar with these things, then get familiar with it. So we're second nature, and it doesn't feel like a hindrance each time you have to do it. It's just something that you know that has to be done on a daily basis.
The screenshots are much better because it's at your actual device. It's easy for the judge to see, okay, I'm in gray and she's in blue. And they're more difficult to modify. So I've had these text messages, and I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at the phone bill. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. Like, Judge, I mean, she could have created this in Microsoft Word for all we know. So the best thing to do is actual screenshots, and just keep up with your screenshots. As far as the recordings, if you email everything to yourself, it doesn't matter if your phone breaks, everything will be in your email address. So if you get some evidence, email it to yourself, because that happens all the time. Evidence, good evidence, case-winning evidence is lost all the time. So email it to yourself. So the question was, do you recommend setting up a separate email just for your court case? Yes. Another word of advice, change your passwords. You guys, change your passwords, okay? You have...
Yeah, luckily I don't have to worry about that in a situation. You know, I'm married with my wife. I don't care if she looks through my phone. There ain't nothing in there anyways. But I've always been lazy with changing passwords. I hate passwords. There's so many of them. But this is coming from a lawyer. You know, again, everything is evidence. Everything is evidence. And the most evidence on any person at any given time is in their cell phone. Without a doubt, within their cell phone. So you need to definitely keep your clamps on your digital devices when you're around people that you know will do your case harm.
I will say this, women tend to be very resourceful, right? Now, my husband, I know every he uses the same password for everything, okay? I can get into any information, anything I want to get, I can get, because he uses the same password, right? Change your passwords. Let your lawyer pick your password or something. I don't know. You guys are creatures of habit. That's what we kind of see that. So you look, you've got iCloud now. All right, sometimes she leaves with the iPad. Guess what the iPad is?
Hey, not to get off on a tangent, but I do not trust no iCloud. I don't trust no cloud. Once it goes into a cloud, whoever set up that cloud has access to unlimited data. And I believe that's why they set up clouds, so they can get data, you know, and see what we're doing. But I digress.
Logged into your account, and guess what she's doing? She's reading all your emails between you and me. It happens. There's a lot of that, and it's against federal law to do that, but they do that. It's becoming more and more common too. So, and now that there is starting to be litigation over reading emails. You know, you're not supposed to be in these emails. So, but change your password, get out of your iCloud account, right? So I uploaded everything to my iCloud account. It's not here. I don't know why it's not here, okay? Because you got your password. She's taking everything. Change your passwords. If you create a new account, you can get a Gmail account. There's a lot of resources within Gmail, a lot of Google Docs, a lot of storage and things like that. But yeah, we do recommend you getting another email account. Yeah. Okay, so she's correct. So what she's saying is when you change your passwords, unsubscribe out of your other devices. Like, make sure you log out of all of your other devices, right? Because it's so common. Guys don't do that. And then all your information, she sees it. She sees your conversations in real time with your witnesses.
Yeah, and what she's saying, I give you an example. Like I have a Voodoo account, like my video streaming account, where all the movies I paid for is on there, and it had me going to update all of my devices. I had 30 devices in my history. You know, at least half of those I no longer have, can't remember where I logged into, and anybody just can access that. So that's very crucial to do. We have got to develop better habits of keeping our digital information secure.
With your lawyers, everything, absolutely everything. So make sure you really protect yourself and keep all that stuff confidential, okay? All right, should I file first? If you're an unmarried dad, you probably should file first. Other than money, which you can file for child support. Okay, so child support.
And fellas, please listen to this right here. This is what I preach over and over again. Before you can get child support, you have to set up your paternity, okay? Birth certificate does not matter. And she goes into it and says it almost verbatim what I've been saying. You have to first set up paternity, prove that you are the father, get your custodial rights, then you can go for child support. So pay attention.
Proceedings and custody proceedings for unmarried dad, these are two different things. So should you file first? Probably. If you want to have any legal rights to maintain a father-child relationship with your son, with your daughter, you probably should file first. So if you're giving your ex money every month, here, you know, you're not married, but you broke up, you're giving money every month, what is her incentive to file anything in court? She has 100% of the legal control. She has your money. She dictates when you see your children. You're not on school forms. You have no right to any educational materials, no right to medical information. You are no more this child's mother or father. I'm sorry. You are no more this child's father than I am.
And what she just described right there, guys, is in a situation where you're just paying money to your child's mother cash. Again, there's no proof you're doing this or anything. And that is a big problem. And then she went over the fact that you have no rights. You have no rights whatsoever. And what she is describing right there, let's say you were getting your checks garnished, then you're on CSC child support, meaning through the Department of Revenue here in Florida. But all of what she said still applies to you. You still have no rights. You still can't go to the school and get your child. You still can't have access to dental and medical records. All that, except you're paying child support at the highest tier, all because you never got your paternity established in your rights to your child. We got to do it in order, and you have to understand that. Just because you're paying child support does not mean you have rights to your child unless you have gotten court ordered established.
Than I am. You can say, well, I'm on the birth certificate. It doesn't matter in some states. Unless there's a legal adjudication that you are this child's father, being on the birth certificate is not enough. So should you file? Yeah, you probably should. Because if I'm not married, I'm the mother, and I'm getting money, why would I go file and relinquish some of these legal rights? You're not going to do it. So again, you get in the situation.
And again, that's what I have preached before. Women aren't going to do the right thing. They're not incentive to do it. I mean, just like you said, that would be hard for someone to go and give up benefits to ensure that the child is seeing the father, even though that's the right thing, even though everybody says, oh no, that's the number one thing. They need to have access to both parents. It does not happen. So this is why, listen to what she's saying so that you can combat that.
Situation where a lot of you guys give cash. Don't give cash. You're paying cash. Here you go. Here you go.
That was me.
And then it breaks down. Well, it's been broke up for 6 months, and she was pretty good. I was getting my kids almost every other weekend, but I didn't want to rock the boat. She wanted more money for this. Some women, by the way, will only accept cash. Huge red flag. I've been paying. All of a sudden, guess what? Right? New boyfriend comes in the picture. You're out. Then you have to file, and you say, well, I want custody. I question her fitness as a mom. But it's been 6 months. You haven't been paying any support. Oh, no, I have. Do you have any receipts? No, but ask her. I've been paying her. You ask her. I've been getting nothing from him. Then guess what? The courts can go back and order retroactive child support. Never mind, you already paid it.
And there she is. She's hitting about the retroactive child support, which again happened to me. That was my situation. Left the household, left the relationship, was paying child support to my baby mama in cash, so I had no record, could not prove it. And then when she finally had to go to child support because she had another child, I got looped into that, and I got put into arrears from the date I left the relationship because I could not prove that I was paying her any money. It's just simple as that. So guys, don't make my mistake. Don't even get put in that situation. File early, or if you don't file early, for God's sake, at least garnish your own check where you have bank records of it's going out straight to her.
You tack on interest to that, right? So should you file first? Yeah, you probably should. Now, if you're in a conversation with your child's mother, you're an unmarried dad, and she's like, look, let's just keep it out of the courts. Hey, that's great. I'm all about keeping it out of the courts. But let's put something down in writing real quick, just so we have an understanding. So if anything comes up, if she won't put something in writing, I do recommend you filing with the court. If she says, no, that's cool, let's put something down, then you're probably okay. But you want to protect yourself too, because if you don't have legal protections, we all know what happens to dads with no legal protections. They get dragged through the courts. And a lot of times when you first break up, you don't really think about this, but what happens when new relationships begin? You might have a new boyfriend who doesn't like you. Well, why is he coming over here? Well, why can't you guys just exchange?
And she is touching on something that is very important. It's amazing how many times other people is influencing whether or not you see your child, indirectly or directly. All because of what they perceive, what opinion they have of you, or whatever. So, just keep that in mind too, especially when the mother of your child is moving in ways that you're not accustomed to her moving. It doesn't seem like it's within her character. Pay attention to that.
At McDonald's. Why do you everything could change. And all of a sudden, we have guys that come in and they say, we've been broke up for 2 years and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, she's like, you're not seeing, we're not doing week on, week off anymore. I have no idea what happened. Nothing.
And there's some advice that I give all my little brothers and anybody who would be asking me with these situations. You have to understand, women are whimsical, okay? When I say they're whimsical, meaning their mind changes from 1 minute to the next, and they admit this. That's why it's always hard for them to order stuff and everything else like this. They readily admit this. So if you know that's within a woman's nature, why would you ever take a woman's take a woman's word on something as important as the future of you seeing your child and your future earnings being taken away from you? That is your life. What you can put on the table, what you can earn, and whether or not you can see your children is your life, in my opinion. So I don't understand why we just don't take it more seriously, because when that realization hit me, I had to take action, and I did.
Nothing changed. Well, I said, did you get married? Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, but did she get a new boyfriend? There's a change in relationship status somewhere usually, okay? So there's a lot of things you don't think about, but that's one thing you have to think about. So should you file first? Yeah, you probably should to protect your legal rights. Should I leave the residence? Oh, maybe, okay? Again, for domestic violence, if there's domestic violence, I always say yes, leave, right? Especially if you're the victim, call the police, you guys. Call the police. But should I leave the residence? Now, if you're not married, and what if it's your residence? If it's your residence and she won't leave, and she wants to stay in your house, you could probably anticipate some domestic violence allegations coming up. Because we have had dads who are not married, who were restrained from their own house.
That's a damn shame. So you got a girl, you knock her up, you got a mortgage, house in your name, everything else. She gets in her feelings, and now you're barred from your own property, and you better not stop paying that mortgage and the utility bills too. It's continue.
Because of domestic violence allegations. Again, allegations. So, should you leave the residence? It depends. If there's domestic violence, even if it is your house, yes, but go to the police, make a police report, and cover yourself. But a lot of times you're not married, but both your names are on the lease or whatnot. But so should you leave? Maybe. Again, allegations of domestic violence, a very low burden of proof. Can she keep the kids from me? Yes. Yes, she can keep the kids from you. You don't have that same legal protection. You are not the presumed father. Remember, even if you're on the birth certificate, That doesn't mean that there's anything in place saying that, yes, you can see your children on these dates and these times. So can she keep the kids from you? Yes, she can, absolutely.
And for once again, for the third, fourth, fifth time, this is why I encourage fathers to file early and to get their custody established. Because like I say, here in Florida and many states, it is a mother state. They have all of the rights. It's a damn shame that I couldn't take my son out. Let's just say I want to take him out of the state to see his sister without getting the kidnapping charge put on me, because I literally did not have the rights to do that, and I didn't know that. It was a shock to me. So please, take this advice.
But my name is not on the birth certificate. Again, not an adjudication of paternity. I'm going to say there's always a sense of urgency because your children are always getting older, and you don't know what they're being told. The question was, if there's a breakup and there's already a significant period of time that has lapsed, does that urgency still exist? From a strategic standpoint, I guess, if 2 years already went by and you're claiming that she's not fit, the judge might say, well, then why did you wait 2 years? And that's exactly what they're going to say. Why did you wait 2 years if she's not fit? Again, depends on circumstances. Now, there's some dads who are in the military, they get deployed, and there's really nothing that they can do. So if you're a dad and you can give a reasonable explanation as to why there was this 2-year period, okay? But even though a judge might question you, the other attorney might question you, you might have to explain yourself. That in and of itself is not enough for them to say, no, you can't be a dad to your kids. That's not enough. Let's say that you had a drug problem. Let's say you had a drug problem, you went to rehab, you got out, you got a good job, you're the ultimate comeback kid. You rehabbed yourself. Judge might say, you could say, for me, it was my sacrifice to my children. I did not want to be around them when I was in that state. I was not at that time, I couldn't be a good dad. But let me tell you what I've done in the meantime. So if you can explain the reason for your absence, take responsibility for it. Just own your actions, if that's what it is. But sometimes there's explainable reasons for that. Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of that video right there. I have another video that I'll go over with this particular lawyer. She gives a lot of great examples. And I also need to do the deep dive into the actual paperwork that fathers will be filling out when they first file. On the next one I do, she will be going over that and showing it, and then I also will do it myself so that you can get a better understanding of how to fill out the paperwork. So when you look at it, it isn't so intimidating. But until next time, guys, please like, share, and subscribe, and be blessed, okay? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.